Hey everyone, JP here with Centered Golf, and for this week's video I'm going to be doing a detailed sort of walkthrough process of the Overspeed training program. I'll also be doing a lot of sort of side subjects that is equally important when considering bumping up your overall distance. Those subjects are much more specific to personal goals and experience skill level, so there'll be more broad overviews for those with more detailed videos to come, so stay tuned for those. If you look at the description, I should have timestamps for every different topic that I'll be going over. So you can just go down, skip through, and find the one that's most relevant to what you're looking for to speed things up. Quick overview. First things I'm going to be going over is the benefits, the many benefits of this. And then I'll do a sort of a detailed equipment explanation and also comparison. So you can see different options out there, different price points to cater to your budget. And then I'll get it into the Overspeed training process itself. And then to end, I'll wrap it up with the mental aspect of goals, goal setting, expectation management, all of that good stuff. So by the end, you should have a really good grasp on the most effective way to gain some distance off the tee. So first thing is a quick summary of the benefits that you get when you're doing some speed training. Number one, obviously, more distance. Just goes without saying, pretty self-explanatory. Doesn't matter what skill level you are. If you're approaching the green with a 9-iron, you're going to be better than approaching the green with a 7-iron. So the more distance you get off the tee, the better shape you'll be in, lower your scores will be. So don't need to cover that in detail. Pretty obvious. Very overlooked side benefit, which is really important, is technique. So to start, you want to make sure you have the proper technique foundation at least. So if you're just beginning, I wouldn't recommend doing swing speed training right now. You're going to find most immediate gains just by getting some swing tips, working with somebody to teach you the proper positions and movements to swing effectively. You'll notice distance gains immediately that way compared to doing this. And especially you don't want to be doing this with an improper sequence. Could lead to injury, and you're just ingraining bad swings with tons of swing repetitions you're doing with this. So you don't want to ingrain the bad motor patterns. You want to at least start with a good foundation. But once you have a good foundation, this drastically helps your technique as well, because as you're going through it, you sort of just you're sort of exploring different movements and different swing feels without ever specifically thinking about what you're doing. You might just notice better results with this different feel, and then it's like, oh, well, let me try to implement that a little bit more. And you just sort of fine-tune your technique and your timing and your weight and everything much more effectively. And that is where you get the most gains, is by the technique more than anything. So proper technique is number one. Obviously, personalizing based on your skill, you want to start there. And the final benefit is just overall fitness. This is a very major portion of what I'm focusing on in general with all of my videos to come, just because this is the one that translates into life in general and just overall well-being. So pairing the Overspeed training with a fitness plan, this is where you see the most gains. Fitness in general, just either power or explosive training, they both serve their purpose. They're helping not just build muscle, but also learning the pathways, the motor unit recruitment in order to fire muscles properly, and the sequence and all that good stuff that helps translate into the golf swing. So strength training to build power, and also some explosive training to work on those fast twitch muscles that are very important when working on the golf swing. Different types of training to work on different aspects of it. But overall, this is the stuff that will help you just be in better shape and overall better life enjoyment in general. So pairing them together is where you'll see the absolute most gains. There's debate on what to do first, but obviously this is where your personal experience comes into play. If you haven't worked out in years and years and years, I would probably just start there with some basic lifts before you get to Overspeed training, basic movements, basic mobility training, get limber, get loose, and then once you have the basics, start building up, throw the Overspeed training in there. That will probably give you the most gains the most effective way. So next section here I'll go through is the equipment needed to do the whole process. And quick disclaimer, the reason why I'm making this video and why I'm so passionate about it is because I did the whole swing speed training back in 2021-ish and did not do it right, did not have the proper equipment, and it just completely destroyed my swing. I went from a 7 handicap to a 15 handicap during those 6 months because I just didn't stay sharp and I didn't do it properly. So it's taken a long time to get back down to where I was, and taken even longer to get even lower to where I am now. And I just want everyone to avoid that whole headache by doing it properly. Some people say that you should only do this in the off season because it does mess with your swing a little bit. But I've found just in the last 6 weeks of doing this, my swing is still staying sharp because of this process. And I don't even have the best equipment yet. So process is very important. But equipment is just as important. So I'll go through a list of the basics needed and the different price points so you can sort of cater, again, to your budget and your time that you have as well. So number one, I always recommend is like face spray or impact stickers. If you don't have this already, haven't done this already, imperative part of your game. If you hit your driver and just didn't feel right, but you don't know what didn't feel right, you need to know, oh, that was a toe, or oh, that was thin, slightly here, heel. You need to know where you hit in the face every time to keep it calibrated as you play. So I always recommend those as part of this to stay calibrated throughout the process. Next up would be a net or something to hit in at your house, auto return net. They're only like $60, $70. You put it in your garage, in the backyard, or whatever. The other option would be to go to the range every session, but you want to do this 2 to 3 times a week. It's a lot of trips to the range. Not everybody has that time, so having something to hit in at the house is always a benefit. And then a tempo stick, not mandatory by any means. I just found it very beneficial. I use it pretty much every day before warming up. It's a great tempo trainer to stay on pace and to keep your balance and everything dialed in. The one I got was a budget one for like $45. Don't really recommend it. I've had it for about 3 years now, and grip's already fallen off. I'm scared that the whole thing's going to fall apart every time I use it, so I'm probably going to get the next level up, which would be the orange whip, of course. Everyone knows that one, and just from what I've felt at pro shops, it feels a lot more well-built, more quality that'll last longer than 2-3 years. And then into the required equipment, obviously you're going to need speed sticks. So step one, or level one, I guess, would be the budget ones I got. You can get them for $60 to $100 on Amazon. I wouldn't recommend them. I'm seeing a pattern here. I go with a lot of budget options, and then I don't recommend them. I should probably go a little more higher end with my future purchases. But it serves its purpose. I just don't like mine because it has adjustable weights that sort of change the length of it, and it just feels different. Every one, not the best, but they were only $90, like I said. The next step up would be like the mid-range, like the Super Speed. They're only $150 on sale right now. Highly recommended just because they're all the same length. They're great brand behind it. They give you some training processes and everything, so those are pretty solid. The only downside is there's 3 different ones. Could be a pro or a con. Pro being you don't have to change weights in between, but I mean you're always taking a slight break in between, so changing weights isn't a big deal. I just don't like having 3 separate sticks. Having one seems to be more beneficial. But for the price, $150, you can't beat it. Next level up would be the ripstick. They're about $220. That's an adjustable weighted one, and the benefit of them is that they also come with an app. So they have their training programs. They can cater to your and tracking and everything. Very beneficial when doing this. And then the next step up would be the stack system. So the stack is pretty much the best there is right now from all of my research. They have the app integrated, and their app is top-notch. A lot of research behind it. They gamify it a little bit more to make it more engaging. Also tracking, also some plans to follow as well. So the stack system is probably the top of the line right now. That one's going for about $350. And then the next thing you would need would be some sort of swing speed radar. So they have some entry-level ones around $100. The ripstick, benefit to them as well. Theirs is only like $120 for their radar. Pretty nice. The step above would be something like the PRGR or the Swing Caddy, the SC200, or even the stack system has their own swing speed monitor. And the benefit to these ones is that they actually read impact as well. So they're not just reading the swings randomly, but when you hit a ball, they're actually reading the ball speed and the calculating distance and all that. So they step up another $100 or so, $230 for the PRGR, $280 for SC200, and right around the same for the stack system. But the stack bundle for $587, I feel like is the best value. So I'm probably gonna go back that route next time. Just you'll see in my video, I like gamifying it as much as possible. It just engages you more and helps you retain more information and motivate you. And then the higher end of it all would be to get a launch monitor. So this will be an entire video. There's already hundreds of videos out there for all the new stuff that's coming out, anywhere from $500-$600 up to $15,000 of what there is out there. But the benefit to a launch monitor is that you don't have to go to the range every once in a while, because if you have the net, you're hitting in there, you can see the face location with the spray or the impact stickers, but you're not really knowing what the ball is doing past that net. You see the first 5 feet. Advanced players, you might have the feel and know push fade or whatever was wrong, but for most players, seeing the ball go at the range is the best way to keep the path and face angle feel tuned in. If you don't have the time to go to the range, then getting a launch monitor can do this. They can show you the side spins and all the details and show you where the ball is actually going. So saves you time, but again, budget, customizable, figure out what works best for you. So next up, I'll do a quick little rundown of the equipment that I'm working with. Again, it's not even ideal. It's a bit overkill as far as the higher end stuff that I have, but it doesn't even give me the proper numbers like the swing speed radars I'll definitely be getting. So I'm definitely gonna be looking into something like the stack system next time I do this, to have the radar and the gamified app and all that good stuff. But for now, take a look at my system, and then we'll get straight into the swing speed training process. So here's a quick rundown of what I'm working with. The launch monitor I got is the Pro TVX. That's where I'm getting all the numbers from, and then the impact on the bottom left. And on the screen is just the GS Pro software. I just find having a real course up there just makes it a little more fun while I'm doing it. But mainly what I'm looking at on the right side, top right, you'll see the carry and the total length. Not very important just because there's a lot of factors involved. More like ball speed, that's the main one I'm looking at over there. And then on the left, you'll see club head speed. So ball speed and club head speed are the two main things I'm looking at. You can also see the club path, face to target, vertical launch angle, all that good stuff over there. Not paying too much attention on there, just trying to make sure at least they're functional when I'm swinging. And obviously the bottom left, getting a good look at that impact location. That is a very important one to make sure I'm staying close to the center of the face as possible. All right. Oh yeah, and one more equipment suggestion. There's definitely some gym clothes, or at least some clothes that, you know, you're not going to just walk out of swing speed training and go to a meeting at the office. If you're doing this right, you're going to break a sweat. So leave some time to shower after and wear some clothes that are just going straight in the laundry, because they're going to get a little sweaty doing this. So first step on my routine, I always start with this. This is just to help me get my feel for the day. I always struggled with weight shift and leaning back and hanging back and all that good stuff, and also rushing the transition. So this little device here helps pause at the transition. You feel it bend back there, you wait for it to come back, bring it back, and also it helps me hold my wrists a little bit longer to feel the whoosh way up front. So this is a really good trainer to help with tempo and timing and balance. A few swings with this, I feel like I'm dialed in. So my next step is always to hit a few with the driver. So with these first ones, you're just trying to swing hard as you can to sort of find my ceiling today. That's all you're really doing to start. See where your ceiling is, but still keep it functional. You're not trying to spray it 100 yards to the right or the left, or top it, obviously. You want to stay somewhat calibrated while swinging your max. So full send, and able to hit it straight, I'm happy with this. Using that pond as a little target out there. If I can get there and in line, I'm happy. And as you can see, top left, 105 miles an hour. That's pretty much my ceiling, and if I can swing that hard and hit it straight, awesome. My goal is to basically turn that into my cruising speed to where I can hit it straight more often. That would be a success end goal at the end of my swing training. So the next guy is this one. All right, so we're gonna get into the training now. You can see the sensitivity of the Pro TVX. That's pretty cool. That's why you always leave mulligans on, just in case that happens when you're playing around. But if you're interested in the VX, I got a video on that, detailed review on all the pros and cons. Awesome system. I like it a lot, so check out that video if you want to see exactly what I'm working with. But to start, we're going to get this minimum weight. So you can see this has really 5 weights. There's minimum, there's 2 here, and there's 2 here. I don't do one at a time. That's just a lot to deal with. So I just go the minimum, which I believe, I got it written down here, was 281 grams. So yeah, this by itself right here is 235 grams. I add 2 more weights, that makes it 331. Add 2 more, and that makes it 426. So it's about 100 grams each time I add it. And then I even add the 4th with the orange whip that I believe is like 500 and something. That's the final round, which you'll see. To start, let's just go with the minimum. Nice and warm, nice and loose. And I always like to do this after a light workout. Obviously a little bit of a mobility stretch, dynamic stretching to get limber, to get loose. And also just to get my blood flowing a little bit, get moving. You don't want to do it after a heavy workout, obviously. Coming in here fatigued and doing 100% swings, you might be overcompensating, might lead to injury, breaks down your technique, not a good idea. But a couple light lifts can't hurt, get your muscles flowing, so when you're getting here, you're using those muscles a little bit more. That helps build the specific muscles that you're using to swing a little bit faster. So, step 1, you're always going to start with feet together. You can do feet together or on your knees. Serves the same purpose. I just don't want my knees in this. It's actually pretty uncomfortable. But these are just upper body swings for the most part. And you're just swinging as hard as you can, really. 2, 3, 4. So I'm doing 4 reps right now. The first 3 weeks I did 3 reps all those weeks. And I'm on my 3rd week of doing the 4 reps. And then next week I'm going to go to 5 reps. Steadily getting up. And this is the important part. You always want to do the same thing right and left-handed. You do the same thing for this way. So benefits of doing that, obviously you're working out muscles in both directions. It's also just really good for your brain. Whenever you do things with your left hand you don't normally do, opens up more neural pathways, just more that flexibility with neural pathways. So little life hack, whenever you're learning something or trying to learn something new, try doing more things with your left hand. Brush your teeth with your left hand. Try spreading butter on a piece of bread with left hand. That is just tough for me to do. But the more you do that, the more it just engages your mind, builds more flexible neuroplasticity. All right, so step 2 is going to be the step drill. This one's more for a weight shift. You start up forward a little bit, and as you go back, take a step back, and up the transition just before you step forward and go through. So great weight balance, weight transfer. An important one with this, on all the swings really, is you want to make sure you're trying to hear that whoosh somewhere up front. You don't want to whoosh back here. You want to hear that whoosh up in the front of your swing. That helps you hold your wrists a little bit longer. I think doing a left hand too just also helps your technique. You just get different feels when you're left hand swinging. And you can sort of say, oh wow, that feel definitely got a lot faster. Let me try if I can incorporate that in the right hand side. That helps as well. All right, and then last rep, just normal swing. So normal stance, normal everything. Again, you're just trying to swing as hard as you can, keeping your dynamic, keeping your mechanics in order. So really loud, hearing the whoosh up here in front. Oh, another good piece of equipment that's required. Big old jug of water. So that's a summary of the routine for the most part. You do that exact same routine as you add weight incrementally. So this one, I got about 100 more grams. I'm just gonna do the same thing. I do like switching it up. Sometimes I do the right first, sometimes the left first. I actually find doing the left first is more beneficial because, like I said, we'll get that cool, new, different feeling that you never even notice right-handed being something new, and you can incorporate that feel with your right, and you see it helps. So you can tell, not even halfway, well, sort of halfway done. I'm already pretty winded, already breaking a sweat. That's why I don't always start with a glove, because you go through gloves fast, sweating on there. I just put it on randomly. We don't need it here soon. At this point, I like to put on a glove because midway through, I like to take a couple driver swings again. Not paying much attention to speed just because I'm a little tired, and both of those were a little bit lighter, if not about the same weight. That last one was pretty equal. So I'm not caring too much about swing speed right now, but I just want to keep my swing calibrated as I go through here. This might be my personal overcompensation because the last time was so messed up, so I'm trying to go a little extra with it, but I mean, it can't hurt, so why not? So just the last time I was referring to, you can go back, check the timestamp on the equipment section. I started that equipment section by explaining what happened and what I did wrong and why I take these extra steps. These aren't really part of any other process, but I like to do them because it just keeps me a whole lot more sharp. So first swing was on the toe, second swing was a little thin, and then refined it a little bit here. You can see in the bottom left, much better strike, slightly heel, but very functional. And look, the top left, speed still solid. So I feel more comfortable. I'm definitely in tune. I can move on with the training and keep going. All right, so now I've added the final two weights for this, and I got it up to 450-ish. What is it at? 426. This is going to be a little bit heavier than driver now. Again, same routine, exact same process, exact same thing. Just go through. I can still get that whoosh nice and loud up here.
Yeah, I was down, but now I'm up, 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 up. I was down, but now I'm up. Yeah, this all God, this ain't no love. Yeah, I used to be stuck in that mud. Yeah, I was down, but now I'm up, 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 up.
I'm pretty winded. I ain't taking a break. I'm just gonna power through this one because I feel like this is the big money maker right here. This is the big difference maker. This isn't part of anyone else's regimen. This is just something that I have added because I feel like it is where I get the most gains. It's the heaviest for one, and for two, with the lag, I'm getting really good feedback as well and keeping everything, my tempo and everything in time. And since I'm already winded, being able to power through that fatigue and still keep my mechanics in time is a huge benefit for, when you're wrapping in, coming in the last few holes, a little hot, a little tired, you still are able to access the proper skills. All right, so let's get into it. Same routine, just with this 500 something gram flag shot guy, or orange whip or whatever. pretty winded. That was a pretty solid workout, but I ain't done yet. The best way to end this is 10 to 20 full swing, max effort with the driver. So one more benefit of having the course up like that is that I'm able to practice my routine a little bit better. I'm not going to step through, visualize, and all that, but the main thing I'm focused on right now is my post-shot routine and not being so judgmental of all the misses. Because right now, they're going to be misses. Swinging as hard as I can, it's not going to be perfect. So I'm trying to ingrain the thought of swing, hold, and observe. That is the best for me personally, based on my personality type. Little subtle plug for mental golf type. Game changer for visualizing your shot, pre-shot routine, working with what works best for you, minimizing your stressors, and trying to channel that flow zone a little bit better. It's a game changer. So hold and observe is a good one for me, so I'm not so critical and analytical right off the bat. I hold and I watch until it finishes rolling. Low in the face, but they made it through the trees at least. Hold and observe. Hold and observe. Let's done rolling. See, we gotta learn it. It's not. My first reaction is, where's it going? What happened? How did I do that? Why did it go right? Like my brain just goes crazy. I need to learn to quiet that and just think. Hold and observe until the ball's rolling, and then I can analyze. What do I got? 104. So that's how I make these last 10 to 20 swings extra beneficial, not just by keeping the swing sharp by working on my face angle a little bit, but by working on that post-shot acceptance. Because again, swinging really hard right now, a little fatigued, they're spraying everywhere. Holding and observing is not too difficult when it's going straight. That's pretty easy. It's more like hold and admire. But when they're way right, way left, thin in the face, etc., that's when you really need to practice. So that's when it's really good to do it right here. And I always like to end on a good note. This is definitely not the average shot. This is one of the best. So I like to end it with still a high swing speed with the face, path, everything lined up, as you can see up top. Still 102. Great path, everything worked great. So one more step that I've been adding recently. Can't hurt if you have time. Just end it with a few iron swings. I feel like this is what I lost my feel with the most last time, and it's the hardest to get back. Different swing with the iron than it is with the driver, so I just want to end it with a few with the iron to make sure that I'm still calibrated to the sweet spot, still got my feel of the hand path and the face angles and everything dialed in before I wrap it up. Can't hurt, got a few minutes. Why not? So not overswinging max swing with the irons, just doing controlled normal swings just to keep it all dialed in. But you will notice that the swing speed will go up with irons, so you might have to do a bag mapping after to check out your distances. As you can tell, calibrating with the irons definitely has benefit at the end. But overall, customize to what works for you. Time constraints, obviously. You can see how long the actual swing speed process took. It's probably about 20-25 minutes. Don't forget to leave time to shower if you got to go somewhere else. And then I highly recommend the drivers at the end. Spending a good 10-15 minutes just max swing drivers at the end to keep that sweet spot calibrated. Irons are optional. I just like to do it because obviously you can see I needed to do it. And that leads us right into the end with the proper goal setting process. Quick summary. You can know what you want to do. You can throw this, hey, I want to swing this hard. But if you don't have a plan to really get there, it's not, most likely, not going to happen. So I'll run down the basics, the SMART goals. We're all pretty aware of SMART goals by now. It's a great acronym to help plan accordingly. Number one is you want your goal to be specific. So how that applies here is you want to have an end goal in mind. Say your swing speed is at 90 right now, and you want to be at 100. That gives you a specific target to aim for. So being specific helps get you where you want to go. Gives you a finish line for the most part. And then the M would be measurable. So club speed, ball speed, depends on which one you're looking at. So club speed is the most popular. I personally like to I switch mine to go more towards ball speed, because club speed is great. You can get from 90 to 100, but if you are just nowhere near the face and just spraying it everywhere, the ball speed may not go up. So I would rather look at, hey, your ball speed was 135. Let's get that ball speed up to 150. That way, it's, yes, you're swinging harder, but you're also staying in the center of the face to get there. So I personally like ball speed, but either way, something that's measurable, that you can quantify and keep track of, is the best way to do it. And then achievable. This is very important here. So this is sort of where expectations come in line. So you want something that is not super easy. I mean, if you're starting at 90, you don't really want to go to 92. That's just, you're going to see that in like the first few weeks. So if it's too easy, you're not engaged. You're just going to be a little lazy with the rest of it. But you also don't want to set it too high. That's just going to lead to disappointment and some negative surprise whenever you're getting close and like, oh man, this is just not happening. So you want to make sure it's achievable, and usually around 10% is possible in these ranges. Obviously, when you get higher, it's not going to be nearly that much. It'll take a lot of work just to get an extra 1% when you're in the 115, 120 range. That's a whole other level. But generally, if you're in the 90s, low hundreds, something like that, you can probably see a solid gain of 5 to 9 mile an hour. Not unrealistic. Just know that how much effort you put into is how much you're going to get out of it. If you add the workout plans and all that good stuff, that's going to be your best chance to it. One more side note to mention when it comes to expectations is there will be a plateau at some point. So you might see some immediate gains really quick, and then it just sort of tapers off a little bit in the middle. Don't be discouraged. This is very common. It happens. Power through it. You might see more gains at the end. If not, then implement more other aspects of fitness into it to break through the next barrier. And then the R would be relevant. So you want to basically state, I want to reach this club speed or this ball speed because. So the why is always important. Why does this matter to you? You want to make sure this is relevant to your overall bigger picture and what you're really trying to achieve. Because I want to score better at golf, because I have this specific tournament coming up in a few months and I want to be better for that tournament. Whatever it is, finding your why, making sure it aligns with your values and your purpose and all that good stuff, much more beneficial, very impactful. And the last would be time bound. You want to have it time constraints, and especially breaking that down into smaller. Say I want to be this good in 6 weeks or 8 weeks, and I'm going to do that by doing an exercise or swing speeding 2-3 times a week, whatever it is. You want to have it specific, and the more bite-sized increments, the more specific that plan can get, the more likely you will achieve your goals. So ton more to get in here, and that is just quick bite-sized me just rambling nonsense. But in order to increase your chances of reaching your goals, you want to make sure you follow the steps to sort of give yourself the best chance. And that's sort of just the Cliff Note bullet points that you want to try to follow to get there. Another big one is accountability. Having somebody, wife, girlfriend, good friend that you're doing this with, partnering with a friend to do some swing speed training together is very beneficial, because that accountability, you're each a little competitiveness as well, each holding each other accountable. That's a very big benefit. So someone else to help you out whenever you're not feeling like doing it is pretty important. Side note on that, also, just goes back to fitness and technique and all that, but you also got to listen to your body, because you might have this, hey, I got to do this today, but if your body's not feeling it, and if there's ever any pain, never go past that. You don't want any pain when you're doing swing speed training, weightlifting, any of that. Listen to your body. If it's time to work out today, but you just don't have the energy and it's just not feeling right, and it's just, you got to listen to your body and know when to take rest days. So that sums up goals. Combined with everything else, we should have a pretty good plan. Love to hear any questions you have or any input you have, so feel free to comment, send me messages, whatever we can do. Whatever I can do to help, I'd love to help out any way possible. So that sums it up for today. I appreciate you watching. Appreciate you tuning in. Be sure to follow for more coming up soon, more detailed in those small topics. And we will see you next time. Thanks a lot.